It's the best way to start your NFL Sunday. Welcome everybody back to Sunday Morning Slants. I'm your host, Matt Watson, joined alongside Kyle and Mason. How are we tonight, gentlemen?
Worse than last week.
Pretty mid.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good. So, in case you missed it, the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles are undefeated no more. And for the first time in a long time, the NFL does not have an undefeated team heading into week 6. A lot of upsets throughout the course of the week, and we're going to talk all about it as we recap last week's edition of the NFL. So tonight, we're going to kick things off with Kyle. And as you can see, Kyle is channeling his inner Pat tonight with a image for his background. Kyle, which game caught your attention over the weekend and why the sudden switch of your background?
So, if it's any unknown, I'm going to talk about Eagles Broncos because I paid money. Oh, look at that. Oh, take that down, actually. We don't want to see that. But yeah, I paid money to go there, spend my hard-earned money to go watch Kevin Patullo put up a master class on how to piss off a whole fan base. Now, he even went up to the Phillies that played the night before because somehow this was horrible. And the Broncos, don't even get me started on them. Their defense is good. Okay, I'll give you that. But I didn't. Bo Nix he was missing guys. You said there was a couple drops or whatever, but some of the throws weren't good. Granted, last couple drives he was good, but yeah, where am I going with this? I guess the first thing I'll start off with is the referees. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of stuff on the internet about the referees, which yeah, they did blow a few calls there at the end, but they were up 14 points. The Eagles were, and into the fourth quarter. So at that point, there's no possible scenario where a good team, Super Bowl team that has Super Bowl aspirations, should be have their win in the hands of the referees at all. Should have been a blowout, right? Because I was there with my cousin, and I was like, "Yeah, this is probably the point where they can." It was when they got the ball back after Saquon scored, right? I think it was still 17-3 or whatever it was, I forget. But yeah, at that point, I'm like, "Yo, this is where they can blow the game wide open." And then he's like, "Yeah, but they could also blow it. Just blow it." Well, yeah, that's a good possibility too. And they blew it. So same shit that happened last week and the week before that and the week before that. Offense had 7 drives after the half, taking out the amazing Saquon play that Jalen drew up. May I add? They were six drives for 42 yards total, and that's just not going to get it done. I mean, they ran the ball with Saquon one time. One Saquon run in the second half when you're up 14 points. Jalen threw the ball 40 times. I mean, they spent all last year saying how that's not how they win, and they decided this week is the perfect week to try it against a Broncos team that has a legit defense. So you'd think maybe we should get the ball, run the ball a little bit more, get Saquon back on track, but no. Instead, we're just going to sit here, throw the ball 40 times, try to appease AJ. Devontae Smith had a good game. Devontae, he looked good. But yeah, it was just overall sloppy. And I would say I'm pretty concerned about the Eagles. I think they're going to lose to the Giants. Now, I'm not trying to be like Frank, but I see a possibility where they could lose. Maybe not a big possibility, but I can definitely see it because Landon's out, Cam's still hurt. Interior line just sucks right now. Just unfortunate situation, but yeah, and you got Dexter Lawrence on the inside, Brian Burns on Thibodeau, Dual Carter on the outside. I think it's going to be a long day for Jalen. I think the Giants are going to sit back in zone, make them beat them with zone beaters, which the Eagles have shown they can't do. Because, I'm going to drop a fact right now. Jalen Hurts against man coverage is a passer rating of 118. When teams drop into zone, it drops down to 86. So, and it's 60 dropbacks for man, 109 dropbacks for zone. So clearly teams are realizing if we just sit back, make Jalen pass the ball in the zone, make him take the checkdowns, we can stop him because Saquon can't run for some reason. So yeah, I think it's an overall disaster, what you can tell by my incoherent rambling for the last 4 minutes. But are they going to fix it? I guess is the next question. And I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. I think it's going to be a tough one because culturally, they're on the ropes here. The wide receivers aren't happy. Looks like they're jogging out routes. But yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one to get back on track. I think it's really going to test Sirianni and his culture that he's built, which I believe in, but we'll see.
All right. Well, Mace, before I let you go, I did want to just kind of bring up, I know I mentioned it last week that I had a feeling the Broncos were going to win this game, and they did. I think the Eagles played right into their hand in the second half. Like you mentioned, they didn't run the ball. The Broncos, if you're going to attack them, you have to do it with a running back. And you saw in the Saquon touchdown where he torched Alex Singleton down the field. I mentioned it last week. The Denver Bronco linebackers cannot cover running backs in the passing game. And the Eagles used that to their advantage on that touchdown. And then they didn't go back to it for the rest of the game. They basically took Saquon out themselves. The Broncos didn't have to take out Saquon. And then you could just focus on, AJ and Devontae, which they had Pat Surtain following AJ Brown the entire game. And then they decided to use Riley Moss against Devontae Smith. I think Riley Moss is getting a little bit exposed this year, not just in this game, but in a lot of games. Teams are just attacking him because they're not going to go after Surtain. And you saw it. Devontae Smith was cooking him. And if it wasn't for a catch, it was for a DPI. So, but yeah, dropping back and allowing the Broncos pass rushers to just, go after Jalen Hurts was a mistake for the Eagles. They didn't mix up their play calling whatsoever. And it really allowed Bonito and Cooper to just go right after him. And you saw it worked. So, and then I will say, I think Bo Nix is still leaving a lot on the field. He's still making overthrows. He's not hitting guys in stride. Now, granted, I just don't think he has a lot of talent in the wide receiver room. You have Courtland Sutton, who I think would be a wide receiver 2 on most teams around the NFL, but he's still a quality receiver. But aside from that, Mims and Franklin, they're just not NFL guys, in my opinion, at least right now. Evan Ingram finally showed up for the Broncos. It only took him 5 weeks to be found, but it finally showed up. So, yeah, no, I think it was just an impressive drive. I think J.K. Dobbins might be one of the most underrated signings of this offseason. He's top 5 in rushing yards for, first time the Broncos have had a top 5 rusher at this point in like 10 years. So I did not expect that out of J.K. Dobbins, but overall, big win for the Denver Broncos. I won't comment on the after game celebration and the victory tour that Sean Payton took. But I will say feels good to get a win.
Time for y'all to lay an egg in London.
Against the winless Jets. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be telling on Thursday whether or not they just lay down and die, or if they come out with a chip on their shoulder. I mean, the good news for the Eagles is they have 3 cupcakes coming up, and then the bye to figure it out. So these have to be get right games. I mean, if they drop 2 or 3 of these games, I don't even know. Somebody's getting fired. Somebody's getting traded. Something's got to change.
I don't know if they'll change Patullo halfway through the season because they did that in 2023, and that was a total disaster. But
I don't know who they would.
I'd like to add one more thing, maybe something that can maybe show that I'm not fully out on the Eagles. So they had the number 1 strength schedule so far in the whole entire league, and the rest of the top 5, they have 1 to 2 wins. So I think they've had a total gauntlet to start the season, and I think a lot of people forget that. And a first-time head coach, feels like it at times, but first-time play caller and Patullo, I've been hard on him. I think that's a secret. But I think going up against some of the elite defenses in the NFL, you're going to get beat down a little bit. You're going to get out-schemed. I think everybody maybe expected that. But I think Mason said if these next 3 games look like shit, then I think there's some serious cause for concern. But I think this next month we can really – maybe in a month we're talking a completely different narrative, right? Because we're to play the Giants twice and then the Vikings in between. The Vikings have a nasty, nasty defense, but their offense doesn't really pose any threats. Maybe with Carson Wentz slinging the rock, maybe they sneak a win out against the Eagles. But, yeah, I think this next month will really tell us a lot about the Eagles and their future because they're not right after the next month. I think it's time they'll make the playoffs, but I think it's time to start looking at the draft picks and that late teens, early 20s, because I don't think they'll go far.
Well, I will say, be careful who you call a cupcake, because last week Kyle called the Bills schedule a cupcake schedule.
It is. It still is.
And then Buffalo lost to New England. So just be careful.
I mean, the Giants just lost to the Saints, so
they did. They did by 12.
That was Spencer Rattler. Wasn't that Spencer Rattler's first win? I thought I saw something where he was like he was gonna join the 0-10 club or something.
He already joined it. Yeah, I think
Yeah, he was
Oh,
hunting
was that
down
the
to
week
Sean
before?
Kaiser. He was hunting down
Yeah.
to Sean Kaiser now, 016. Yeah, but apparently he's been playing good. It's just the Saints are just a total disaster. So,
Saints look good on Sunday. But all right. So we're gonna pivot over to Mason. Mason, which game did you watch this weekend, and what were your takeaways from it?
All right, so big one for me this weekend was the Chiefs and the Jags on Monday night. I think this game was pretty telling. I mean, it looked like the Chiefs had complete control, and then the Jags just kept crawling back. I mean, the Jags look like they're hungry and they want it. I don't really know if they're going to go anywhere because Trevor Lawrence still looks like he's making the same mistakes that he's been making. But the defense is well improved. It looks like they have some fire under a new head coach. I mean, looking at the Jags schedule, to me, they still got to prove it. I mean, I think they could comfortably win the AFC South if the Colts didn't just come out of nowhere and decide to be amazing this year. But I mean, they don't really. That was pretty much their like marquee win of the season at this point. And coming up on their schedule, I mean, they have some tough games. They got the Seahawks next week, the Rams the week after that, who've looked decent at times. I mean, looking at the rest of their schedule, though, they're pretty much going to be playing the same caliber of team that they have. They have the Raiders, the Texans, the Cardinals, the Titans, obviously playing in that division, the Jets at some point. So, I mean, they could definitely stack some wins here, and I think they'll end up making the playoffs. But to me, I don't think they really have any big teams on their schedule that you're going to be able to say, like, yeah, that was the Jags are for real, I guess. And then on the other side of things, I mean, I think this just is what the Chiefs are. I think after last week and they beat up on the Ravens, who had a body bag game, you're like, oh, maybe they're back. Maybe the Chiefs dynasty is still here and they just need to get healthy. But I mean, this is just not a good loss for them. I mean, obviously, no loss is a good loss, but I don't think the Jags are really world beaters. And to let them come back into this and win this, I mean, I think this is kind of what the Chiefs are going to be. They're going to end up beating up on bad teams, and I don't think they're going to win against very good teams. I mean, they have the Lions next week. I don't see them beating the Lions. The Commanders in 3 weeks, the Bills, the Broncos, the Colts. The way the Chiefs are playing right now, they seem to me like, depending on their strength of schedule, like maybe a 10-win team. Like at this point to finish out, if they were to get 10 wins, they would have to go 8-4. Like to me, I guess that seems realistic for the Chiefs to do, but like I don't think they're going to come out and go on a tear and win 12 games. So I think the AFC West is wide open, and I don't think the Chiefs are really going to contend this year at this point.
Yeah, absolutely loved it here. Do you guys hear that?
another Broncos
Yeah.
loss.
Duval.
Is that a soundboard?
It is a soundboard, and Cohen, the first edition of the Sunday Morning Slants soundboard. Dude, the Jags, man. Who would have saw that coming? And I mean, so I will say I did not stay up to watch that game, mostly frustration in the Major League Baseball playoffs. But watching Trevor Lawrence with the slip six last night was just awesome. I cannot believe he laid on the ground for like 4 minutes, got up, and still was able to get in the end zone. I do not understand what the Chiefs were doing. But I mean, that's a signature win for the Jaguars. Like Mason was saying, like that is a win. You go up against Mahomes in a game where I think most people picked the Chiefs. I think they figured after last week against Baltimore, all right, here we go again with Kansas City. They're starting to ramp up, and then the Jaguars kind of just stuck a pin in them. And I mean, 31 points on the Chiefs, I think is very impressive. I think, Trevor Lawrence has never really reached that level that mostly everybody expected him to. But I think if he plays at least a quality caliber quarterback, they're going to be contenders for a playoff spot. And in that division, we'll see how they match up with the Colts. But I just think that's a great win for them. And it's putting them in a position to move forward. Like Mason said, you have a couple solid games and solid opponents ahead of you. Even if you split, or you just stay above 500, you're in a pretty good spot. So they don't have to worry about Houston. They don't have to worry about the Titans. It's a 2-team race, in my opinion, at this point. So good for Jacksonville. Way to go out there, rookie head coach, to go toe to toe with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and get a win. I think that's just a stellar job for Liam Cohen. Welcome to the soundboard here on Sunday Morning Slants. And I think Jags fans, all 15 of them, should be really excited about what they displayed against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I guess all I'll say is that the Jags defense, although they led 28 to the Chiefs, they got some promise. I mean, last season, turnovers compared to this season, they already passed that mark for total turnovers last week, right? So they're generating a crazy amount of turnovers, defense electric. You got Trayvon Walker, who's coming into his own finally. He's no Myles Garrett as the number 1 overall pick, but he's really edge rushers sometimes take a little bit longer. So I think he's finally arriving. And you got Hines Allen on the other side. So it's just nasty elite pass rush combo. I wish we had that in Philly, or even half of that. But I think Jalen Hurts will get there eventually. But yeah, Jags defense electric. Their offense, Liam Cohen. You saw what he did in Tampa Bay. So I think they're going to be legit. I think they got a chance to win the South. Who would have thought 2 demons in the AFC South? Colts and Jags both look like monsters. So everybody trashing the South. All of a sudden, we might have a AFC championship between the Jags and Colts. That would be something. And then the Chiefs, I think their offense is humming as best as it can. It's their defense, right? Remember last year, they would just bleed teams out. They would barely win, but it would be like they wouldn't let them win like 17 points. So they would kind of play that conservative burn clock, just squeak out wins, and it was fine. But this year, it looks like they just can't stop the flood. So Chiefs are going to have to win a lot of shootouts, it looks like, unless their defense can sort of come into form later in the season. But unfortunately, it looks like my Broncos pick might actually be materializing into an actual pick. Unfortunately, I'm still not sold on them after this week. But, I mean, you just look around that division, the Chargers they're just decimated by injuries. Chiefs, as we just said, are kind of, like Mason said, they got a tough schedule. Maybe they only get 10, 11 wins, so I think the Broncos can pass that. And then the Raiders. I don't think you got to worry about the Raiders. Gino's looking good. Slinging that thing. Gino's slinging that thing to either team, so I'm not sure you're going to have to worry about that. But yeah, I think the Jags are promising, so that'll be fun to see.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to what Jackson was able to, if they're able to build off that performance or if they kind of fall back to earth, we'll have to see. So the game that I wanted to talk about was the Washington Commanders and the Los Angeles Chargers. Kyle just referenced them. Jaden Daniels has missed the last 2 weeks with an injury. He comes back and they put up 27 on a great Chargers defense. Kyle, you just mentioned the Chargers injuries are starting to stack up. Amarian Hampton just got placed on short-term IR. He's going to miss the next 4 weeks. So after that 3-0 start, we had that episode. We played buy one, sell one, and I bought the Chargers to win the division. I bought into they were 3-0 with 3 division wins, and I should have known that it was the Chargers going to be the Chargers and they were going to fall back down to earth. I thought this might be the year where they finally take a step forward, and they're proving to be exactly what the Chargers have always been, an average team at best. I mean, back-to-back losses. I mean, Daniels hasn't played in a couple weeks. He's coming off an injury, and they really just weren't able to stop him. And the Commanders, who, I don't know, they don't scare me in any way. Like, I picked them to win the East. I feel pretty much regret that pick, even though they're still, just a game behind the Eagles at this point. I just don't see with Washington. I really just don't see that pop. I think they're going to make the playoffs in the NFC, but I don't know. I don't feel as though the Commanders are as threatening as I once thought they were. And then just back on the Chargers, I mean, back-to-back losses in games that you should have won, in my opinion. Home against Washington should have been a win, and they definitely should have beaten the Giants on the road. So now they get the Dolphins next week. Miami's probably 1 loss away from firing Mike McDaniel, so maybe they'll be playing for their season or for their head coach's season anyway. But I don't know. If the Chargers lose next week and they fall to 3-3, not only do they erase what they did in the first 3 weeks of the season, but they open the door for the Broncos to come back. They open the door for the Chiefs to come back. Kansas City can go on a run. So in what felt like a runaway division winner, the Chargers have now evened the playing field. So they're lucky that they have the head-to-head wins at this point in the season. Those final 3 division games are going to be key matchups. But I think, once again, this is just an example of the Chargers not knowing what to do with success. And I think it's an example of the Commanders starting to bounce back a little bit. But again, kind of proved to me that they're just not as threatening as I once thought they were. So a little bit of a stock up for Washington, definitely a stock down for the Chargers. And I'm regretting that buy. I think I have buyer's remorse. So
Tough.
I can't believe you, as a Broncos fan, willingly bought stock in a rival team.
Maybe I did it on purpose.
Not really.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I would
Maybe
die
I
before
hedged
I
my
put
bet.
any stock on the Cowboys.
Well, I
Because
don't look at the Chargers like you would look at the Cowboys. That would be the Chiefs for me. I look at them kind of probably how you would look at Washington.
that would be even worse. That would be even worse.
No, that
yeah.
I mean, I look at the Raiders. Well, I don't know, I don't have much love for the
Yeah,
Raiders.
there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. They're never a threat, so I don't have to worry about them. But the only thing I have to worry about is whether or not Gino's going to throw 2 or 3 picks against us. It's the only thing I have to worry about. But
I think he's going to throw at Sertan 4 times and he's going to get picked 3 times.
that'd be cool. Be a big stat pad kind of game. So I'd love that. But okay. So just around the league, I know I referenced it a little bit earlier. The Patriots beat the Bills in Buffalo on Sunday Night Football. We kind of were talking about off air. I didn't really want to talk about that game last week because I didn't think it was going to be a good game, and I didn't think the Patriots had a chance. I know Mason was kind of feeling the Patriots in that one, and Drake May proved to go into Buffalo and beat Josh Allen, and at this point the Super Bowl favorite. So, what did you guys see from Drake May from New England, and do we think this is just a blip for Buffalo, or do we think they're not as strong as we might have thought they were?
I just feel like they do this every year. I'm gonna look this up while we're talking, but I just feel like every year the Bills end up dropping a game to the Patriots. That's why I was like, maybe this seems like they could drop this one. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't really think the Patriots are that good, but it's a division game. Anything crazy can happen, and Ramondre Stevenson was great for me in fantasy. He only had 14 yards, but 2 tutties. Here we go. Love those 1-yard rushing
and the fumble.
touchdowns.
Don't forget the fumble.
True. Yeah, the fumble bowl on Sunday night. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any cause for concern for the Bills. I think this was just kind of one of those weird games that they end up dropping, and you move on from it. Yeah.
I think they're in cruise control. I just think they see the Chiefs because every year it's them, the Chiefs, and the Ravens. Oh, they're all contentious. Even week 1 we saw that. But then they see the Ravens just totally imploded injury, and then the Chiefs are shelved themselves. So I think they're like, we watched Sunday Morning Slants. We heard Kyle say we got a cupcake schedule. We're inclined to agree. So let's just keep ourselves healthy, not show all the playbook, and they probably think they can coast. I mean, obviously no NFL team is just going to go, we're good over here. We can just half-ass it. But I think that might a little bit creeping in. But I think it's also divisional games. Divisional games are wacky. But I'm not going to take anything away from the Patriots. They played a good game. Drake May looks legit. I mean, that QB class is looking crazy good. And then all around, so I think Drake May's potential. They got to play Travion Henderson a little more. I took him early, and they decide they want to play everybody else other than Travion Henderson.
Running back committee.
Yeah, let's go running back committee. But yeah, I think the Bills will be fine. I don't think this is anything to be cause for concern. Now, if they start dropping games left and right, obviously you're going to sound the alarm. But with Josh Allen back there, I don't have any concern.
All right. Well, just taking a look ahead at week 6, we mentioned Eagles Giants in New York for Thursday Night Football. I think Philly bounces back in that one. Do you guys think that the Eagles are going to go back on their winning streak, or do you think the Giants are going to pull off a huge upset and chaos will ensue in the city of Philadelphia?
They better win, dude. That's all I'm going to say. If they don't win, bro, the outrage this week will look like baby talk compared to next week. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It'll be electric. Either way, it's gonna be electric. I think the worst possible scenario is they win, but they look like shit doing it. Because that's
somebody, the turf monster takes somebody. I don't even care if it's by 1 point. I need a win and I need no injuries, honestly.
That's boring out because if they look like shit still, it's just everybody's gonna complain. Oh, we won, but everybody's complaining. It's gonna be the same shit. But if they blow them out, then we're so back. If they lose, then you get some good stuff. But yeah, I think they win. Not gonna say convincingly because they've shown that it doesn't matter who they're playing, they're gonna keep it close with that conservative offense they're running. But yeah, I think just talent just overwhelms the Giants. Hopefully,
Eagles
I
are
wanna
Eagles are -7.
it's in MetLife,
Yeah.
In MetLife, I
so
would
that's like
take Eagles -7. Honestly,
but -10.5 on neutral field.
I mean they
don't
lost
know.
by 12 to the Saints.
I know. Oh,
Yeah.
it just
Take
I
the
don't know.
Eagles and the points.
wasn't that what happened?
and
That
AJ
was
Brown.
on the losing streak in 2023,
Don't
wasn't
even
it?
mention
Wasn't
that.
one of those
No.
Giants?
No, don't even. That game was horrible.
Oh,
Was
They
that
look
Tommy
like-
DeVito?
I think Tyrod Taylor was in there
Was
slinging
it
it.
Tyrod Taylor?
Dude, that was bad. That was the low point of that
That's
season.
not what I need.
New York
yeah,
quarterback legend.
I would just say I'm not as confident as I should be, which is concerning. I know it's the Giants, but I just think like the team is just like they should, even though they look so terrible, they should just have enough talent where they could like turn the ball over 2 times and they should still be able to beat this team. But like, I don't even know right now.
I think they get right. I think they do. I think am I as confident they'll do it? No, obviously. I mean, what have they shown that gives you that inclination? But I think they're Super Bowl champions. They know what it takes to win. They know what they got to do. I mean, like this isn't the freaking Titans we're talking about here. This is the Super Bowl champions. So I think they'll get right. They're gonna have a lot of talk. Short weeks. So they're gonna go back to basics. I think it'll be good. So.
All right.
Dart against
the Eagles
Dart
defense.
against the Eagles defense. Vic
Yeah.
Fangio. I mean, Dart's shown some promise, but yeah, I mean the Eagles hunt turnovers, and Dart seems to be a little prone to fumbling right now. So I think the Eagles hunting turnovers plus his inclination and wide receivers aren't giving him any help. So I mean,
He doesn't have any.
yeah. Malik Neighbors, unfortunately.
Malik Neighbors is out. The Giants don't have anybody that scares you in the passing game or the run game.
They got Cam Scatterbo.
Yeah, I wouldn't be scared.
Bro, he's gonna
Okay.
run over Bond, dude.
Yeah, well, we'll see. All right, so we all picked the Eagles on Thursday night. Quickly flashing to Sunday Night Football, the Lions in Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. I'm gonna go Kansas City in this one. I don't see them dropping 2 games in Arrowhead within 6 weeks of the NFL season starting. I think this is a game which everybody's going to be picking the Lions. I know we kind of just talked about it a little bit. I think Kansas City bounces back. Big win over the Lions. They get the mojo going again. And then all of a sudden, you have that feeling, here comes Kansas City. And then I think the week after that, they get the Raiders. So, you can start putting some wins in the win column. I think Mahomes, who honestly is playing better than he did last year at this point in the season. I know the pick 6 last night didn't help, but I think the Chiefs bounce back with a big win over the Lions, and I think the Lions do something late in that game that's going to cost them.
I think the Chiefs are in their Phillies era. I think Arrowhead doesn't have the magic it used to, like Citizens Bank doesn't in the playoffs anymore. I think that's where the Chiefs are headed. So I would like to formally retract my statement from the first episode where I said the Lions were washed. They're not washed. They still look amazing. They're still a buzzsaw on offense. And they seem to be staying relatively healthy this year compared to last year where they had like 26 dudes on IR. So I think the Lions are scary, not gonna lie. So I just don't think the Chiefs defense will have any answers for the Lions. So, but we'll see. So I'm taking the Lions.
All right, Mason, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions. I just don't believe in the Chiefs. And I think the Lions are kind of looking like world beaters again. They kind of figured it out after that first week. So interestingly enough, the Chiefs are still favored by 2.5. I wonder how many points they get at home. That's got to be like 5. There ain't no way anybody's confident. I mean, I get it, Arrowhead, but they've already shown they dropped it this year. It's just, I don't know. I think the Lions they're just going to overwhelm them, especially with the way the Chiefs defense is looking at this point. Like, why couldn't the Lions put up 40 like they have been? It's not like the Chiefs have really been putting up much. I mean, they just gave up 31 to the Jags. So, like, the Lions can't. I get Arrowhead, and I just don't think the Chiefs can keep up with that. So, I don't know. But I'm gonna go with the Lions here. I think this is the end for the Chiefs. This is where people say, you know what? Yeah, no.
Mason's going to stick a fork in Kansas City. But all right, that's going to do it for this edition of Sunday Morning Slants. Thank you all for tuning in and listening. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff. And make sure you check out some past episodes as we talked about all things NFL thus far into the season. So thank you all for watching. Have a great night.